Agri-tech is the incorporation of technology into agriculture, aquaculture and horticulture, with the ultimate aim of improving efficiencies, yields and improving profitability for farmers. Some examples of this could be the use of genetically modified organisms to enhance crop yields. It could be the use of biofertilizers to improve soil health, or ultimately it could be the use of precision agriculture that might use drones to help use the precision irrigation, fertilizer or pest management. And finally, we can use a whole range of sensors so that we can collect a whole host of data that help us make proactive and informed decisions about when and where might be the best time to harvest.
There are many agri-tech technologies out there that can help meet a lot of the UN's sustainability goals, such as providing the yields, the quantities, the quality, the nutritional benefits and sustainability that is required to help combat many aspects of global hunger.
The largest benefit to agri-tech is the improvement in food security, so whether that is improving crop drought resistance or disease resistance through genetic editing, or it could be through enhancing the soil microbiome. Additionally, it could be through the more responsible use of things like pesticides or fertilizer through precision farming techniques. And finally, it could be through the use of enhancing the quality, the nutrition of crops, whether this is through the optimum time to harvest, which can thereby reduce waste, or ultimately it can be using the genetic modification to enhance the actual vitamin and mineral contents of these crops. Agri-tech tools can help us reduce our over-reliance on synthetic fertilizers, it can help us reduce our use of fresh water, and it can help us minimise waste through more efficient practices. One of the largest risks to implementation of agri-tech is the impact on communities that it will have. If it has a negative effect on the rural community, we're not going to see uptake or long-term use of it. Community is so essential within rural areas, and so it's essential that when we consider implementing or incentivizing these different agri-technologies, that they improve and enhance the communities as well.
And we need to also watch out for potential how these are implemented and how these are sold by the big organizations who will produce them. As many a time, many farmers will not be able to afford these, and even if they can, the benefits might be long-term. They may not have the short-term benefits many people who are actually farming will need to literally live their day-to-day lives.
Another risk might be when swapping from chemical fertilizers to biofertilizers, farmers initially see a reduction in yields, and it's where we need to consider the long-term implications and benefits. So we might see a reduction in yields initially, but actually over the longer term we might see an improvement in yields, an increase in carbon sequestration, and an increase in nitrogen fixation. It's essential that in order for governments or organisations to get agri-tech to reach its full potential, that they support farmers throughout. So whether this is supporting them with grants or initiatives that help them gain the initial capital to implement these things, it might be the increased operating costs that they support them with, or ultimately it might be helping them through the initial shortfall that might be seen in decreased yields until they're able to reap the benefits at a later date.
As with any tool, agri-tech also needs to be successfully implemented for it to be of any use in the market. So, take farmers for example. It's all good that there's new technologies such as drone technology, precision farming, genetically edited crops being made available. But all these longer term initiatives doesn't really mean much to that farmer because they can't take advantage of it right now. They can't afford to think long term at this point in time because they're more worried about their yield and their productivity this year to support and maintain and feed their families. So there is a much greater need for the government to provide policies to update the subsidy system to help farmers think more long term, to think about these sustainability objectives, to help protect against soil erosion, to actually utilize some of these new technologies as the barrier to entry is just so high.
One important aspect is to encourage businesses to adopt responsible sourcing. This can help with the reduction of deforestation, the overuse of nitrogen fertilisers, and ultimately it can help with improving and conserving biodiversity. And finally, it's going to be essential for governments and organisations to upskill the local communities in order for these agri-technologies to be successfully implemented and adopted.
So there's a lot of really cool agri-tech technologies being developed at the moment, but one really fascinating one is this new drone technology that essentially just flies around the field and can help trap and capture the different bugs and microorganisms that are flying in the area. And from that, it can analyze that genetic material there. And from that data, you can better predict in the future which organisms, which bugs will be present in that field at any future given months later down the line. And from that, the farmer can be better informed about which pesticides to use to combat these potential pests and diseases later down the line, which is a really cool way of using new precision technologies to help the farmers, but also reduce waste and reduce pesticide use in the environment.
Farmers have always been interested in what the weather's doing and what it's going to do in the future, but now we can use data from previous years to help inform our current day decisions. This could be using previous year's rainfall data to know when the best time to plant your seeds are, or ultimately it could be using that data to know when the best time to harvest is for optimum yields.
Agri-tech is undoubtedly a vast area, and we've just explored a tiny portion of all the complex layers that there are to this field. There's a governmental layer, a sustainability layer, financial layer. There's so much to cover. But despite that, and despite these challenges, it's undoubtedly an exciting field as there's been so much development in the last 10 to 20 years. So no one can argue that agriculture and agri-tech will be an area of huge potential for the future.